We're continuing to follow several law enforcement operations here in the metro. ICE officers say more than 100 members of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua were targeted in this investigation. Now, we know of at least one person who was arrested.
Denver 7's chief investigative reporter Tony Kowaleski has been following the federal agency's movements for several weeks now. So, Tony, this is really the first time we've seen an ICE-led operation, multiple operations, I should say, today. So what did ICE say in terms of what was accomplished today?
Well, virtually every letter of the alphabet was out there. The FBI, the ATF, ICE, and so, yeah, a lot of operations taking place. They started early, but let's give you a little perspective first. I mean, it was 10 days ago when this started in Adams County on a Sunday morning, and now today kind of culminating with the biggest operation of all. What did ICE accomplish today? What numbers do we know? What kind of crimes? We don't have those answers right now, but we did hear from the acting special agent in charge of ICE, and he specifically talked about the impact. He said that we had a high value target, a gentleman from Chile, Tren de Aragua, and he was arrested today. We saw 8 people taken into custody and arrested at Whispering Pines, and we are told that all of these people are high value targets in one way or another. The agent in charge of ICE specifically said that this is measured by how it makes our community safer, not in hits, runs, and errors or total numbers.
Well, that's sort of what I was going to get to the next question, playing devil's advocate here. It's a lot of manpower, a lot of machinery out
resources
there for a single arrest.
Well, there was more than one. There was one high-value target from Chile, but there were more than a dozen arrests from what we were able to count. Anybody who left the location in handcuffs was arrested. Right. So there were a number of arrests, and that's worthy of noting. Also, I think you need to take into account what we heard from one of the residents. You heard him at 5 o'clock from where we were. It was Whispering Pines. He felt the neighborhood was taken over. They didn't feel safe. His wife couldn't walk the streets, and he applauded the effort. Now, let's be clear. Not everybody's happy with what's happening in these situations, right? And it tends to draw right down party lines. But what is happening is sending a message, and the operation today wasn't completely successful either. We were at one location, about 24 federal agents went in, broke down a door of an apartment complex. We're told not a single person was in there. All the furniture was gone. Well, one of the facts here is this operation was actually scheduled to happen last week, but they pulled the plug because they were concerned about officer safety. The word got out. Some sources telling me, and I think this is important, that some of these bad guys that are concerned have voluntarily left town. And that might have been the case of that apartment complex where they broke in, or that apartment unit where they broke in, and nobody was inside. So measuring success, it depends upon how you look at it. But ICE is saying, and you asked the question, it was successful. We've made our community safer, but there are a lot of people also that are very concerned because they don't want that knock on the door.
Well, we'll know you stay on top of this. Tony Kowaleski for us tonight. Tony, thank you.
All right, and we will follow the operations as well. You can too. Visit our website, Denver7.com. You can catch up on all of today's coverage.